The Epz Q5 Pro 2024 edition. Let's talk about it. This IM was sent out to me by Epz. I want to sincerely thank them for this opportunity to review this beautiful IEM. Let's start by talking about the build quality of this IEM, then we'll go from there. The overall unboxing experience of this IEM is pretty great. Shows a little graph on the back, and it's a nice kind of thing overall. I like this unboxing experience, and I think it's a lot of fun. Its tips aren't super exciting. They're just silicone tips, but they're nice. I think the fit and comfort of this IEM is very unique. I think for those people that need something that's a little bit smaller, this might be a really good go, like the Meze Alba or the Sennheiser 200 IE series. This is a lot like that, and I like the shell and comfort and beauty of this IEM. The white feels a little bit chintzy and bland, but mixed with the rose gold on the front and on the nozzle, it looks super premium and super class, and I love the design and comfort of this. Again, I can pretty much fit any IEM in my ear because, I'm me, but this one, I think this is a great for people that are worried about fit and could be a really big winner for people. The cable is a nice cable. It's a 2-pin cable, which is huge. I want to say the last Epz Q5 Pro was MMCX, so having this be 2-pin means that's so much easier to swap out. Now, the chin slider isn't really functioning, which is a downside, but the cable feels nice. It's not super prone to tangle, and the end of this looks fantastic. The case on this isn't super exciting, but it's nice. I like the size of it a great deal. Now, they did include the new dongle, the Epz TP35. I like this dongle. I think it looks cute. It looks premium. I like that you can kind of see it on the outside. The cable included is super nice. And overall, it's a nice sounding dongle that I don't really have any problems with this. I might end up doing a full review on this dongle sometime, but it just kind of depends on my workload. But either way, this dongle that they sent with this is fantastic and looks great. Okay, let's look at the graph, the Epz Q5 version 2. That name is apt to change, but I mean, it has a nice looking graph. Like if we normalize this at 500, it has a nice amount of bass and a lot of good things going on for it. The problem I have with this is it comes across to my ear exceedingly bright, and it has way too much error and of this upper region from like 4 to 6K or 4 to even 8K. It just comes across a little bit too bright, and its mids are a little bit too scooped either at that 500 point for me. But its bass response is nice and lovely. So let's look at a few other graphs and kind of go from there. Let's look at the Epz Q5. Now, as we look at this guy, you'll notice my graph is a little bit not normalized at 500, but what you can tell is that it seems like the Q5 version 2 has a little bit of energy around the 6K region. I kind of like the Q5 original a little bit better. I think it's pretty close, but it kind of depends on what you want. But I kind of think the Q5 Pro for me and for what I like might be better. Now, some people aren't sensitive to the 6K region. Like if you're just watching this video and you're like, what is this guy talking about? I think the Q5 version 2 is really nice and does a lot of things really well, and it's a fun sounding IEM. One thing I would recommend from Epz is the Q1 Pro. This is a little bit of a cheaper, more budget set, but for me, it sounds a little bit more sophisticated and refined in ear. I kind of like the fit and comfort of the Q1 Pro a little bit better, and it would get my recommendation. I recently featured this in a video, 5 levels of the hobby, and I think this is a really great budget beginner set. Now, restart in 5. One thing this reminds me a great deal of is the Nano Titan S2. I think these have a lot of that same energy for me. I think the Q5 version 2 has a little bit better bass and dynamic response, but it's not. It kind of just depends. I think these are both fine IEMs, but for me, again, when it has this much air region and this mid treble region, it kind of doesn't work for me. One thing I want to compare is like not just the Q1 Pro, that another IEM to even consider may be the Canary Celeste Wavering Abyss. It has great fit. It doesn't have this scooped 4 to 6K region, and it's a nice little IEM overall. I think a lot of people might like the detail of the Epz Q5 version 2 Pro a little bit better, but for me, the Wavering Abyss is a little bit better. I personally would recommend doing some EQ. If you normalize this to my target, you can get rid of a lot of this 3 to 6K energy, and that'll kind of get that nice dip in for you, which has a little bit more of a refined, less kind of a hissy sound, and I think it works for a lot of IEMs. As far as how do I rank the Epz Q5 Pro version 2, I mean, I think it's okay. I think it has a decent bass response. Its mids are a little bit cooked for me and don't work, and that kind of ruins the whole experience of the IEM for me. I think if you EQ it, it sounds quite nice and quite lovely, and it does have that great fit for those that need it. And so it kind of gets a cautious recommendation depending on whether you're sensitive to those regions. And you can tell whether you're sensitive to those regions with doing a little bit of EQ with a program like PSAPO. I like this IEM a great deal. I think there's a lot to love about it. It has a nice fitting IEM shell. It looks good. It looks beautiful. It has a matching cable, a nice pouch, a nice unboxing experience. It feels and looks premium, but it gets kind of what I call a hesitant recommendation. I like it. I think it's a quality product, but for me and for what I would listen to, it probably would be kind of a no-go. I do think it has a little bit of refinement issues in that upper air, mid-treble region that kind of needs to be fixed in order for me to kind of really want to listen to it. But for those that aren't sensitive to those regions, I think this would be an exceptional set, a great gift set to give to a friend or a wife or a loved one. And I think they'll really like it because it's really beautiful and easy to look at, and it has a nice, easy, relaxed sound. Thanks for watching my video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?